Okay, this is a statement. I've got to remember to read this out and type it up. Right, the way the police actually operate is like this, and it was explained to me, especially over this light pollution issue with Tonya. All it takes, apparently, is for a like-minded police officer to agree with you, and then the situation gets resolved. Now, in the light pollution issue, I'm not going to go into that because it's self-explanatory. According to the update 2005, whatever it was. Yeah, the 2005 light pollution, loud noise bullshit. Anyway, also a like-minded judge. All of these judges and all of these magistrates have all been from different planets or universes than I have been. So, if you think you're going to be able to try me, you put me in front of a set of peers that are like-minded like myself. And you especially make sure that the judge, whoever it's damn well going to be, and I'm using the words damn well going to be because this time I damn well mean it. You get a like-minded judge. One that is completely independent, yet has watched the following series of documentaries. There's the Big Bang one, the universe one, from Galileo to the modern day. There's E equals MC squared. There's Einstein's biggest blunder. And then, for example, we're going to jump from the science over to the fucking the world and the law or whatever. Number one, the 6-day war that Israel fought. I've got all the documentaries of it, and the judge needs to watch that entire series. And this poster with the swastika, what's the problem? What the hell is the problem there? Are they ignoring everything else that's around it? Hey, all the people that are cocked up, and at the moment I'm telling you right now, that picture that you've got right now is just a scrapbook of ideas that really are not explained enough. E.g., where it says CPS, Criminal Protection Service. I'm going to redo all that. I'm going to put more on there. But whoever the judge is going to be, he needs to watch that video, the BBC, A Warning from History, preferably watch the whole series, and then especially episode 2, about 20 minutes in, where it goes on about this Isla Toschi, who refused to conform to the Nazi ideology. Like with Barnet homes, they treated me like I was a little kid being punished for crap that was just being made up, because their basic policy is, and always has been, when the Labour Party gave councils the funding to get people off the streets, Barnet Council's policy was to get them out within a year. That's what Tom Mahoney told me, and blah blah blah. And Tom told me that one guy they did it to ended up suing the council, and then he won $1,000 or $3 out of it. And then you look at what happened to me. They're using a trainee ASBO officer, Nanda Grazia, to use words like, you should know when his offences took place because you were the offender. And then 2.5 years later, she tells me that those words were designed to provoke a reaction. Now, I was housed because I'd practically spent 10 years homeless. I'm not saying I was jobless, because I had some private work going that was always under the £5,000 limit, where you had to declare it or whatever it was with the DHSS. I don't give a shit about all that. Living on the streets or in other people's houses is not living a life. So, whoa. a like-minded judge with a like-minded police officer, without interference from a council who wants to evict people. And you bear this in mind. I'm certain I've got it somewhere, either on a phone call, but for sure, I think it was Bob Huffam is telling me, we don't give a shit that Lisa is on YouTube. It's the fact that you've put the council staff on YouTube. That's what they were bothered about. But from there, it took Lisa about another year before she got her fucking Duncan Lewis and Co crap going. But the point is, from sort of that moment onwards, the council were pissed off that I was forced to put the first thing that went up on YouTube, Amanda Russell telling me that it's a good thing that I've got that camera to help protect myself from false allegation. And it's about Lisa harassing the neighbours. Well, the neighbours woke me up going, "Are you filming this? You know, did you catch that? Lisa's just had an argument with the postman." The postman had parked his van outside her house. She's driven in or whatever. I don't know what the fuck happened. I know I wasn't there. I didn't see it. But Keno gets me out of bed, gets me to go out after it's all happened, making pictures of Lisa's fucking car now parked on the pavement. This woman's just fucking... So how am I to blame? Barnet Council have got such Nazi, self-indulgent ideology, but so much power to harass and stalk and destroy people's lives. When I was living on the streets, my possessions were scattered all over the place. Different people, my friends, were storing stuff, and it'd been there years. We're talking 15 years, 20 years even. All of that, all my tools, everything, every diagram that I left at every studio, everything that I built, all ended up back at number 3 Westbrook Close, my council for life tenancy. I had a psychiatric unit, I had a housing unit, I had Dave Weaver from bloody housing action in Barnet. His report was like a legal document. It was massively, so highly technical. And yet Barnet Homes throws its trainee ASBO officer with an ideology that she can pick on anyone, like the mentally ill. And I'll tell you what as well, that first case that the council ever brought against me got put before Judge Marin. And he read it, and you know, my response is, yes, I did tell Lisa Nanda Grazier to fuck off. Yeah, after a 15-minute conversation, you know, you can't say that. Can I have a different ASBO officer? No, I'm the ASBO officer for your street. Well, you know, all calls are recorded. I want the recording, and the only way that I can get the recording is to tell you to fuck off, Nanda. Okay, so she was there deliberately winding me up. And yet, when her court case came up, although there was a complaint about me bitching, you know, calling a council staff to fuck off, the actual victim had not written or submitted a statement. So Judge Marin threw it out until that statement turned up from the victim, Nanda Grazier, council worker, ASBO officer. But get this, one of the reasons why I told her to fuck off is because I wanted a copy of my housing file, and they wouldn't give me it. So I told her to fuck off, take me to court. I want to know what all these reports are. I want to know what's on my housing file. So Judge Marin ordered up the housing file, didn't he? And then when I got it, number one, it was cross-contaminated with another Martin Smith from Harrow, I've never lived in Harrow. I live there now. Well, Hendon the Hyde. So Nanda's looked through my housing file, which is cross-contaminated with someone else, and I've only read about the first 3 pages. It's all about someone else. I didn't bother to go through any of the rest of it myself. It must have been a whole print worth, a whole box, 500 pages. But she also said in her statement that she read my housing file and that she determined that I was mentally ill. She's not a psychiatrist. Now, I've just had this conversation yesterday that I've just put up on YouTube last night from CAD 7177 that the copper's telling me that I'm not qualified to certify Lisa Mayer as a psychotic psychopath. You know, equivalent to Maxine Carr and Mary West. No, it's Rosemary West, actually. Thank you very much, Mr. Police Officer. I forgot that it was Rose, but I knew it was Mary. It's Rosemary West, the Yorkshire Ripper's wife. So this copper is sort of lecturing me that I'm not qualified as a psychiatrist to certify, say, PC Sarah Wigley with Alzheimer's disease, because the way that she's behaved is outrageous. She spends hours with Raj or the opposition, but only 5 minutes with me, and she writes nothing down. She's got Alzheimer's disease. She's a definite psycho, and so is Judge Keith Hornby, a complete psychopath. I bet you that with Judge Hornby, when he had kids, he was saying to them, keep your elbows in, eat with your knife and fork, sit in the corner, don't speak till you're spoken to. All that kind of bullshit. I reckon he was a massive child abuser, and he should never have been put in be in a position to be able to judge over people's lives. If he wants to judge anything, why doesn't he judge corporate entities like the Epsom Valdez or whatever it fucking is, whatever? He should never be involved in dealing with people's lives. Judges like Judge Keith Hornby, who will never ever pass the anti-psycho test that you can download online, I bet you he hits at least 97% psychotic, off his fucking tree with his ego trip. And this is the thing about Nanda Grazia, and then that council, and then the way that PC Wigley, you know, she spent so much time with the others, and then she ends up admitting that at the end of the day she listened on YouTube to Lisa slagging off. I mean, I missed the first 3 minutes of this conversation, but where she's slagging off Richard shouldn't be living here. Okay, when Sarah finally got to listen to the psychology of what Lisa Mayer is up to, that's when Sarah told me that she was going to start dealing with Lisa, because Lisa was obviously a shit-stirring little cow, and the SNT police are basically there to suss this out and use them as the fucking bastards, right? The troublemakers. And here I am, getting housed from the streets. I held on to practically all of my possessions. They end up at Westbrook Close. On top of that, I end up with my dad's tools, my granddad's tools, Sydney's tools, Bill and Ellen's shed. These people fought in World War II. Bill was the last person off the Dunkirk beach. Why? He was a bloody baked bean tin man, wasn't he? He was the canteen guy. He had to keep everyone fed. And Sydney, well, he was either a spy or he was in the British Army, although he is German. But he, you know, I've seen the photographs, and when his house of him in British uniform with British people, you know, drinking beer at the pub. And you know, when Sydney's house got emptied, the workmen who were emptying it, they found my business card on his mantelpiece, you know, with my phone number, because they knew that I'd been helping him out. And then what they brought to me was all of Sydney's historical family photographs. So I've got my own family, my own heritage and life, my electronics, my research, my astronomy, my electrical stuff, my tools, my spare components, my diagrams, the diagrams that I invented from original diagrams. I mean, that's what Marconi did. He nicked other people's patented ideas and stuck them in one box. That's the mark of a genius. And I declare myself as a genius because Galileo was a genius, isn't it, eh? He's the one that started all of this off. You wouldn't have a mobile phone if it wasn't for Galileo, right? And especially I want to mention Giordano Bruno, who was burned alive at the stake for believing that those stars up there were other suns with planets going around them and there was life. And the Inquisition, Catholic Inquisition, Christian, burned him alive, saying, do you mean to say that there's more than one Jesus Christ? I think you lot can all go and fuck off. You think you can prosecute me in a like-minded way? Impossible. And then we get down to the root of the problem. Am I a criminal? Do I go around raving about all over the place? Well, in one of those interviews, I think it was over Raj Rodriguez and PC Burke, SX683, I said to him, you look at all those years that I was homeless, nothing happened. But when I became a council tenant, or rather when Lisa started picking on me, wham, things start happening. And it all came back from that Darren Davis shit. Talk about like-minded. I tell you what, this is my grudge over the Darren Davis thing, and really the 1986 0.2 of a gram, 0.20 grams of hashish, which in those days could not be analysed, because they analysed it, they would have had to destroy the entire sample, hence no evidence, hence no trial. That was my defence. 5-day Wood Green Crown Court trial, because the magistrates at Enfield, and it started off at Barnet, the CPS, I presume somebody couldn't believe that 0.2 of a gram was arrestable, because it wasn't. So they kept leaving off the point, didn't they? 20 grams. Fuck off. Biscuit crumb to a matchbox. Bollocks. So I fought it and I fought it and I fought it. I think there were 5 magistrates appearances. Probably only 3. But it ended up as 5 days at Wood Green Crown Court. And I didn't even get my chance to open my fucking mouth. So I am now. And that's the way it's going to be. You've taken years out of my life. So this court is going to listen to every fucking bit of me. Because here's where the problem is. It's this so-called police statement of truth. Warning, I'm liable for prosecution if I give false testimony. Especially if it gets used in a court, actually starts getting used. Which, as a by-subject, is where Eric Pickles kicks in. Where these councils are just logging up complaints where we, who are being complained about, don't know nothing about it. We don't have no right of reply. Eric Pickles says that what these councils are doing is building up hate crime files. Then he's going to try and stop them from doing it, but nobody tells Barnet Council what to do they? Eric Pickles should be turning in his grave, although he's still alive, Why hasn't he responded positively to what I've asked him to do? Because he's the bastard who fucking said it. This is where it all becomes a bit too pig ignorant. You're dealing with these guys that are like, oh, we're in charge of your society because we know what we're fucking doing, and you cunts don't know what you're fucking doing. I mean, it's bastards like him who burn people like Giordano Bruno to death. And in this country right now, you don't need a gas chamber, you don't need a gun, you don't need a knife. All you got to do is lie to the CPS. They push out the bullets into the magistrates, and the magistrates, who have not got the balls to criticise the police, shoot everybody down. Now, the government's policy exchange unit says, and they were on telly, they said they want a new breed of magistrates. The magistrates' crisis at the moment is that they're all getting too old. There's no one in the lower age group, say for 20 to 35, 40. They're leaving as fast as they join. So it's the training, isn't it? You're turning people into psychos, and people don't want to be psychos. This is why Nikki Bilgin, that's the reason she bullshitted me with, oh, I left the CPS at Colindale because what they do there is just write up a load of psychotic shit and wreck people's lives, and it was turning her into a psycho, so she quit. She's also a very, very heavy cannabis smoker, especially when pregnant, and when she gets wind that she's going to get raided, she rings up fucking her ex-boss and gets it stopped. Why wasn't Keno arrested when he broke the nose of a drug dealer? And the first time that I met this guy, the first thing he said to me is, if you want a gun, I'll sell you one. Alright? That guy, simple, Keno broke his nose. Now, when I saw Keno, I just looked out my front window. I could see there was a cops outside Keno's house, so I went out there, because Keno had prior assaulted me. So I went out there, I took my camera with me, because I thought Keno was being nicked over me. Nah. Gifford, Paul Gifford, is sitting there in the passenger side where I am, and he's telling me that I've still got to report it to a police station. Later on I find out that Keno has actually broken Simple's nose, but he wasn't charged for that. And then you've got him chasing me down my fucking garden path after I've just got home from 24 hours in a police cell, where what Keno was doing was brainwashing Chrissy and Gary, her husband, against me. I filmed it for 25 minutes on my CCTV. I'm still in my living room. And then I went out there, saying to Chrissy, this is exactly what I mean about Lisa. Slagging off people, but Keno knew that I was awake. Because whenever I open my window when I wake up, everyone knows it, Martin's awake. But he knows that I've only just returned from being held in a cell for 24 hours, where I was charged with assaulting Raj. Bollocks. And then he's threatening me, he's chasing me down my garden path. I'm telling him, keep away. Alright, I went out in the road. It might be provocative, but in the context where context is everything, thank you very much, Mr. Keir Starmer. In the context of everything, when the police came down and watched the spy camera recording in my laptop in my back garden, those 999 cops were going to go out there and do Keno, 1, for harassing me, 2, threatening behaviour on my gate, and 3, causing me to defend myself by picking up a brick and trying to get Keno to get off my gate. I am not going to be a prisoner in my own home where I've got to keep shutting the door on everybody. I have a territory, my back garden. Anywhere beyond that gate is our territory. Alright, postman can go in and out. But beyond that garden gate, that's where Keno knew where the line was drawn. Because he can claim, oh, public access, you know, communal footpath. He doesn't fucking live at number 3 or 3A. He was still trespassing on a council tenant and threatening him all the way in. So when these cops saw that, they were just on their way out of my gate when Nicky Bilgin's mates from Collingdale come steaming into the garden. And I think I've put all these videos up on YouTube now. I haven't watched them, I don't care what's on them. I know for one thing I'm not wanking on them. But the fucking police are, aren't they? In comes this lot. No, 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 don't nick him. You can't use cameras. It's not evidence. Get back in your house and stay there. Fuck off. Collingdale police station, you're going to be fucked up by the time I'm finished with you. Statement of truth. So, who's got the power? Hey, come on. It says, warning. Yeah, it says, this is a statement of truth, blah, blah, blah. I realise I'm liable for prosecution, blah, blah, blah. But who's got the power to prosecute? Come on, who is it? Why haven't the magistrates got the power? Why haven't the police got the power? Why hasn't a Crown Court judge got the power? But most importantly of all, when the CPS finally realise that the CPS themselves are being set up by the police to lie, and then the CPS just go protecting, they look for any loophole, any escape route to protect themselves, or rather their client, from being accused of committing perjury, breaking the statement of truth, form MG11. And that's been my beef with Darren Davis, and especially over this Lisa Mayer shit. And then when she turned to Duncan Lewis and Co, form N244, Lisa did it again, because they must have issued a form N244. And Duncan Lewis and Co, I'm coming after you as well. You run a monopoly. You've got so many different arms and legs hanging out the doorway that I can't find anyone that would fight that eviction case, because you all know each other. Cross-contamination, I don't think any of you in the justice system realise what cross-contamination is. Look at that fucking Scottish, that truck driver in Scotland. Oh, I can't give you an answer because these wankers are suing me in the civil mercenary courts. That's ridiculous. And this has now been my question for the last 4 years or whatever. Who's got highest priority? A fucking civil judge who throws away your defence and then ensures that you're fitted up to go to jail? Fuck off. Judge Keith Hornby, Judge Mitchell, who the solicitors say you're a right hard bastard. And that female judge, the one that stuck another 6 months on me, on that bogus case that should never have got through the front door. And this is exactly what that guy meant, innit? The court progression staff, whoever it is that progresses these cases, should be arrested. Because really, you're not qualified, are you? You're just the son of a son of a son of a lord or some bullshitter. When you left school, you just found this as a job opportunity, so you took it. Alright guys, I'm just making a statement. Fucking hell. Okay, what else is there? Yeah, it's this statement of truth. So why haven't my reforms are give the magistrate or the now victim, the falsely accused person, the power or right to insist that that perjury that has just taken place should be prosecuted. So either the magistrate has got the powers, the defendant should certainly be given the right to ask for the magistrates to prosecute, either right there, right then, during and when it happens, or within a 5-year period, because of the psychological damage that this sort of behaviour does, being charged over 0.2 of a gram of hashish. Bollocks! I'm standing there in the dock holding the actual charge sheet, 0.2 of a gram, and the CPS are reading off 20 grams, so I'm waving it like a flag at the magistrates, and the magistrates are looking at me like I'm a complete cunt. And that was way back in 1986 or 87 when the CPS first ever existed, and right now to this day they're behaving in exactly the same fucking way. No one took any notice when Lisa Mayer got me arrested. I told those filthy, perverted police officers, PC Wilson and DCI Meredith, during the police interview, and I damn well want that interview tape. I told them that I only made one phone call and one text, because I'm an honest guy. I didn't know what the law was or nothing like that, but they're charging me, they're claiming that I'm harassing Lisa. But I told them, you can check my phone records, you can check her phone records. They said, don't you worry, in a menacing way, don't you worry, we will be looking into your phone records. Really? Alright, well that'll exonerate me then, won't it? I'll be clear. But no, they throw me before the magistrates in the morning, Hendon, and they bark off that I've made multiple phone calls, multiple texts, multiple harassments, in fear, all that bullshit and bollocks, and then the magistrates put me on bail not to live in my own house or enter the street. Whereas the Solicitors Regulation Authority told me that what Hendon magistrates had done was a breach of my human rights. They're not allowed to do that. They don't have the power to do that anyway. Banning someone from their home, which then meant Lisa could go running round the street, barking her arse off about me, colluding and coercing Raj right in front of my camera. The day before the trial, Raj is telling Lisa, yeah, I'll say this, yeah, you say that, and then we'll make up this bit, we'll make up that bit. She tampered with witnesses. She destroyed my credibility. Raj's kids think that, you know, I look after them really well. I stopped them hitting each other because they picked it up off of their goddamn grandma from bloody Mauritius, who's too old to even to start to learn English. You can't go around hitting kids with wooden spoons, not in this country. And you can't really just make them sit on the sofa all day watching the bloody Teletubbies either. Kids are kids. They want things to do. So I took round one of those marble runs, those little tracks where you run a marble. Jaden was playing with that for a whole week. He learned a lot. Gravity, acceleration, physics. He just fucking swallowed it up without even realising how sort of scientific he was being. For example, you do the normal oval shape. Not only do you know, if you roll the if you lift up the track, the marble will start moving, and the faster it moves, then it will fall off the track. So, but you can make it go 3 or 4 times around the track, or you can balance it, your acceleration, and learn how to make it go 1 time round the track. And that's what Jaden was doing for the first week that he had that. Okay, Jaden and Angeli loved me when I went round there, because when I went round there, it was Uncle Martin, which is what Raj was telling the kids to call me, Uncle Martin. I'm saying to the kids, no, 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 that's wrong, I'm not Uncle Martin. I'm the neighbour next door. You know, I'm your friend. and then Pauline. She's the one that's done it, innit? That peeping Tom fucking scenario. It's Pauline who's gone, oh Raj, I don't like the way that Martin's playing with your kids. Are you sure about that? And where did really Pauline get all that from? Eh? One, she's got a twisted mentality, but two, and this was admitted by Lisa Mayer, because it's the first question that I got that bogus court-appointed defence questioner, because they wouldn't let me question Lisa directly. They abused that Millie Dowler trial situation. They abused that to protect a psychopath, Lisa Mayer. Same personality as Maxine Carr, same personality as Rosemary West. The fury inside me just blinds me, it blinds me. I don't know what to say next. So it comes down to a new generation of magistrates, because the government's policy exchange unit says that the magistrates at the moment are too scared to criticise the police, because if they need the police, e.g. their house or shop gets burgled, the police won't bother to turn up. They want a breed of magistrates that have been through the system, even with minor cannabis convictions. Well, I fit the bill, because I tell you what, that conviction that's there right now is a load of bullshit. Nasmith Miller, if you think you're going to bust me over an empty plastic bag, then you're off your fucking tree, baby. Because Nasmith Miller, you have made yourself personally targeted for abusing the police's system to put a conviction on me to make me like I'm a fucking cunt. I'm a firm believer on the law, and especially when it comes down to these oaths or statements of truth. And this is where Keith Vaz and that Common Select Committee, whatever it was doing the Rochdale, he's now kick-started. He's going on about these lying clients abusing the courts to either make money, cause people's lives misery, deliberately lying to solicitors, and not only the solicitors, the CPS, the criminal side, and especially the civil side. And Lisa Mayer and Duncan Lewis and Co. fit the bill perfectly, absolutely right down the nail, because that phone call that I had with Duncan Lewis and Co., e.g. Prayal Patel, I've got that recording. You promised me, more or less, that mediation before we even walk into that courtroom was necessary, but all you did was hide a psychopath, another Maxine Carr, only a goddamn lot worse than that. So in my defence, I want Lisa Mayer's whole record. I want all the complaints that she's made to the police against me. I want all the complaints that she's made to the council against me. And I want all the communications between the council and the police. Because in combination, just like with that Isla Tosca, Pauline Cutler started this peeping Tom. Raj, are you sure he's safe with your kids? And how the fuck did Tonya turn against me? I do not fucking know. I do know one thing. Lisa, I've got a confession, because I spoke to Tonya about it afterwards. Tonya told me, Lisa's been slagging you off, but you've got no problem with me, it's all a load of crap. I even got the phone call from Lisa telling me that she's told everybody that, you know, oh, when he first moved in and all that. But here's where the problem lies, isn't it? About Pauline and her special paranoid fucking stupidity. On the day that I moved in, Lisa Mayer admitted this at Hendon Magistrates Court and I know it's in the transcribe, well, in the clerk's notes that he was writing down in real time. She admitted that Barnet Council, well, she had phoned up Barnet Council claiming that me and my 2 key workers, Damie from Notting Hill Housing Trust, who's as black as the ace of spades, you got Tom Mahoney, who just looks like a sort of a hip, happy-go-lucky hippie, and then there's me. And then Lisa's phoning up to the council going, oh, there's a squatter moving in. Now, another sideline of that is, my flat apparently had been set up by Lisa so that her mate can move in, but her mate had not picked up the key. As far as anyone could track down, her mate was in bloody New Zealand or Australia. So the council had told these Pauline and Lisa, don't worry about him, he is, you know, he is the tenant, but don't worry about him, he's well known to the police. Oh, really? Really? Don't you mean the police are well known to me? But they didn't just make one phone call, they made 2. One claiming there was a squatter, and then when they heard me saying to Damie in the van, I'll handle the telescope. Telescope? Oh my God! So they're poking their ears, not only just watching someone move in, they've got their ears up against the windows or something. You know, they're listening to every word that I'm saying. Oh, I'll bring in the telescope. Telescope? Oh, look at those cases. That's photographic equipment. So they phoned up the council and the police and reported me as a squatter with Tom and Damie, squatters, and that it can't be right that a man has now got a council tenancy with a telescope and photographic equipment. It wasn't photographic equipment. Those cases contained the files for Darren Davis. Alright, C/990/ST/92. I had a telescope, yeah, a little 4-inch one. From there, once I got my home, my dad bought me a bigger one, and through charity shops and one way or the other, I put my dad's one that we built in 1976, made our own lenses, yeah, set that up in the front garden. But then, oh, Pauline's probably thinking, oh my God, that metal tube, because you take the lenses out, I can leave the metal tube in the garden, put a, you know, so what? It was never pointing at her house. But, you know, on the day I moved in, oh, there's a squatter moving in, don't worry about him, he is the tenant. Oh, there's a bloke moving in next door to a kiddie school with a telescope. That can't be right. Oh, don't worry about him, he's well known to the police. Yeah, that's what happened, isn't it? So Pauline had been feeding off of that stupid paranoia all of her fucking life. And yet Pauline, as I understand it, has actually had a piece of her brain removed. Because when Pauline was told at Willesden Magistrates Court, definitely 3 times, I think it was 5 times, by the magistrate, the recorder magistrate, who wouldn't audio record it, he wrote everything down, the bullshitter. We need cameras in our courthouses and we need them put there immediately. Yeah, immediately. Because this email that I sent to the court going, I ain't having no fucking around on this one. And I've been explaining to Case Progressions that my solicitor is going to be there to do the legal shit. I'm the one going to be doing the barking. My solicitor is going to be there. This is what I'm telling the Case Progressions people. He's there in a legal capacity to mark down where any perjury or such narkiness takes place. I walked into that courtroom on the 12th of August. I was fully prepared, in the sense that I had the Magna Carta. Now the Magna Carta, when you buy it, is in a black cardboard tube with gold leaf writing. When the cops raided my, searched my bedroom and took those Lisa Mayer files and my laminate machine, I genuinely could not find my Magna Carta. But I found it the day before I had to go to court. So I thought, well, you know, I'm definitely going to take it. But the security guard, well, I'd warned the court as well. Now I found it, well, I don't care when I found it, but I found it about a week before, because I remember telling these guys, I've got the Magna Carta back. Okay, so I'm going to come to that court with the Magna Carta, and all I've really got to do is hold up the cardboard tube to the magistrate with the gold leaf writing facing the magistrate saying Magna Carta, because I was expecting like those bogus bent ones that goes on where the magistrate just is not going to listen to you. Alright, there's just going to be a complete man war. But it weren't. The two women judges were actually quite, you know, nice. Although at first there was that stern attitude, it sort of calmed down, and they were very eager and excited to see the poster of the swastika on the borough commander's head. But, you know, this is where my solicitor, it's crazy. I'm telling the courts I'm no longer sitting in the dock, I want to hear every word. So they let me sit outside the dock. It was in the same chair, but it's not where I told case progressions that I am the defendant. My solicitor is there as a legal to check on what you lot are doing. Okay? I was not allowed to lay out my bits of paper, because if those magistrates were so keen as to want to look at it, I could have just picked it up and gone, there you go, Your Honour, that's what it's all about. And if you think that's bad, you look at this one. Judges, Priestley, Gestapo Inquisition, that was on my garden gate for 3 months. It was even on Google. You know, the Google car. Huh. You were worried about that one compared to that one. I want Ada McCarthy, PC Wigley, Tracy Lees, Amanda Russell, Amanda Davis, Michelle Davis, Nereza Staff, Stacey Timms, Stephen Morant. Now Steve Morant wrote a statement against me. It was a false statement, so he needs to be nicked. He's what the Home Secretary calls rogue investigators who are unaccountable and out of control. Well, just prosecute Steve Morant, make it public, and then these prosecutors, these inquisitors who go out, because that's what Steve Morant is, he's one of those inquisitors who writes up reports that are more biased against me and more in favour of the council. I had a cathode ray television, one of those little ones that you sit on, well, you can see it, it's on YouTube, that bit of video of the police outside my house where I put the Stephen Lawrence fucking newspaper thing, the independent newspaper. Fucking hell. You're talking about Gestapo Inquisition. being no doubt that what Barnet Homes did was to definitely, without any shadow of a doubt, and there is detailed evidence, even the police themselves, just by coughing up their emails and their own communications, it will prove that there's been a Gestapo inquisition performed against me. And I know now that it's also being performed up and down the whole country. And I'm telling you right now that these ones in Barnet, I was born and bred in Barnet, and now I'm getting kicked out by this fascist ideology that people like Bill and Ellen and Sydney and fucking even Richard Moore worked in the merchant navy during the war. Alright, all these old folk that fought for this, lived through the war, are now dying off, yet getting abused by people like Lisa Mayer. And really, I'm especially pissed off about this Richard Moore thing, because I was reporting dead body for about 6 weeks. No one took a blind bit of notice until I saw Pauline asking George, who was about, what, 93 by now, to do her fucking garden. Slave drive the old boy. Just like Lisa Mayer was with Richard in the snow. I might still have a video where I'm talking to Sarah Wigley about it. I know I have done on the phone, and it might be up on YouTube right now, I don't care. But I'm telling you right now, I am against animal abuse. I'm against the abuse of the whole planet as an ecosystem and all of that. All you bastards taking those aeroplanes, you're fucking us up. You know, it's been recently sort of been saying, oh, you know, it's very difficult for somebody on the outside to get the whole picture. Well, why do you think I put that poster up? And what do you think that little map is all about? You know, with Lisa Mayer in the middle, you can clearly see the word Ada, and that map at the top left, it starts with point 2. Because after a 5-day Crown Court jury, where the jury, before Judge McMullen had even got out of his throne, the jury was coming straight back in, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, all over what I said when I opened my mouth for no more than sort of 5 seconds. That trial ruined my professional state of mind and my professional career. I could have gone out on that John Bon Jovi tour where they earned 360 million quid. So they thought, oh fuck me, look at that, let's do it again. They went straight back out and did the same tour again. I was building that tour, and Whetstone Regional Crime Squad and the CPS can't even put, well, the crime squad put the .20 down. The magistrates were looking at me like I'm a cunt. The CPS are not even blindly looking at me. They don't want to check the charge sheet against the paperwork that they've got. The CPS are just blind to their own fucking stupidity. Oh, if I don't do this hour's work, then I won't get paid. So let's just push this further. There's no decision to be made anyway. No harm done. We just put the cunts on bail not to live in their own houses, for example. That is a really badly thought out policy. If the defendant's statement or what happens in court turns more in favour of the accused person, then even the CPS should turn around and say, Your Honour, we are the ones that are fucked up. The person that has done the most lying is Lisa Mayer and PC Sarah Wigley, for example. Ada McCarthy, Barnet Homes, just as in my case alone. And then for the Central London County Court to go and pervert it even further. I elected to get that trial moved out of Barnet to the Central London Court. Because one, I'd already won a case at that Central London County Court over that bloody council. But no, everyone wants revenge, don't they? Ever since I was a little kid, when Jardine, who I got caught, who I reported, and he got caught following or threatening and scaring or touching up 2 little boys in Union Street. Revenge, huh. The police, the CPS, the whole North London network stinks. And that last thing that I uploaded on YouTube just about proves it all. So that's why it's on YouTube, because every aspect of it stinks. And this is what I mean about PC Wiggly having Alzheimer's disease. What she's doing now, this copper I spoke to after CAD 7177, he's turned around and what he's actually saying is, it's like Sir Bernard Hogan Howe. He wants to make quite a few changes, but his hands are tied behind his back. But not only with this copper's hands tied behind his back, he knows he's being recorded as well. But he's still insisting that I'm the one that's under investigation. He's putting the idea across that, you know, this is never going to end, is it? It's just never going to end. Look at that Nereza staff. They arrested me 6 months after making a phone call to a padded cell answer machine where even David Cameron says people can't be blacklisted. And there's Barnet Council, Teresa Villiers, Barnet Council blacklisting its tenants. In my case, I'm a super tenant, and because ever since Deborah Allday called me a fucking fruitcake and took the piss out of my life story, where I'm telling her about the credibility that the police have said, you know, when I caught that guy loading a gun, walking around Whetstone High Street at 8 PM, not more than 100 yards from the council building at 8 PM, when Waitrose was having its money exchanged at 8 PM, you talk to that armed response unit. They told me that if ever I was in any shit, I could phone them up or contact them, North London Cockfosters base, back in 1990, and they'll stand as a good witness for me, give me a good credibility. And then there's Deborah Allday, lawyer, that was bringing that Nanda Grazer Philip Muircroft case, when she put her phone down, calling me a fucking fruitcake, and then laughing their heads off for up to 16 seconds. And that, I mean, I admit, I put a honey trap down. I told her that I used my ESP when Lee Patrick Davies got busted, because don't forget, the informant of that bust was me in Pentonville prison. The probation services got that house raided because I was kicking off so much. This is what I mean about that Darren Davis shit. Alright, those filth. Detective Perry Cochrane, Detective Trevor Scales, Detective Sergeant Nicky Woods. What about Richard Bates, eh? And then Janice Hancock. I told her DS Nicky Woods had just threatened to kill me. So she writes down on her report little book, what was, you know, I'm guessing here, I bet you it says, what is the offence? Oh, a threat to kill. She didn't write down Mr. Smith has phoned up to say that DS Nicky Woods has just threatened to kill him, and he's recorded it way back in 1994. I'm going to have to end here because it's getting dark and I'm in the allotment. Okay guys, I hope the battery's still going. So, how can it be that the first police officer regarding this Lisa thing, well, come to think of it, got to go back further than that. I need a drink. Okay, so I'm not really sure of the date, but Lisa started calling the old bill on me ever since around about March the 10th, 2010. It really started with the coal bunker incident. I'm not sure what year that happened or what month, but it was after Bill died, because he had two coal bunkers, two concrete ones. One was his personal one and the other one was a council one. I was dismantling the personal one, but Lisa has called the old Bill, and I don't know what she said to them. But it was a whole van load of them, sort of about 9 or 10 6 foot tall flat topped officers, sort of running up the garden path towards me. Well, what's Lisa saying? Oh, there's this bloke outside, he's smashing things up with a sledgehammer. You know, I want that fucking report, because, you know, that's where John Bangs, and then I think it was Ralph Haynes. Yes, you can take the second coal bunker. I wasn't going to take them both at the same time. Fuck off. The other one was still full of coal that I had to get rid of. And the spiders were unbelievable, by the way. But really, Lisa really got the ump with me, and it's now on YouTube, since that took the key from my living room incident, and then blaming me for all the shit that was in her house. Because I'm telling you right now, later on, I haven't found it yet, but I know that it's on this Walkman, the file. She's talking and talking and talking, and then she's asking me to do the fish tank, and I'm saying, well, you know, that you gave me a bollocking last time. Oh, well, that don't matter, that was only over the cats. This is different, it's the fish tank. No, Lisa, it's all about you. Okay, I'm going to end this one right now because I've run out of ideas, but I know I'll get some more. Now I know the battery's really low. Now look, listen, the CPS, are they going to progress this new police case? Because at the moment I see them as two separate things. The CPS have dropped, or the Harrow Crown Court is dropped. The CPS have allowed it to be dropped, and then they're going to reissue it, so reword it slightly so that it remains in a magistrate's court. Now I'm going to ring up the CPS on Monday, and I'm going to fucking ask them directly. The one that dropped it, R. Clare, lawyer. I want to talk to him again, because I tell you what, he's definitely one of those sort of Taliban type psychopaths working in the CPS. There's the enemy within. I'm going to stop it now because of the battery, but that's my main point. I want to know if the CPS are actually going to progress this so that it even reaches the magistrate on the 1st of September. You're not dealing with Mike Boyd anymore, you're going to be dealing it directly to me. Today's date is fuck me, I don't know, hang on, when was I supposed to be in court? 12th. Fucking hell, do you know what, I can't remember. Anyway, it's Saturday, and Neil Hamilton is sort of pole position with his sidekick, what's his name, Nico, and then Bottas is third on the grid for tomorrow's Belgium Grand Prix. There you go. I can't remember what day it is or what fucking year we're in at the moment. See you later, bye. Run out of battery.